Daily Collegian reporter received 2 hate letters through the United States Postal Service system in an envelope with the reporter's work address written by hand. The first letter was directed to the reporter asking him or her to send the second letter, which was a death threat, to a black student leader.
The students have been sitting in by day and sleeping by night inside of the student center here on the university campus. Last night they also held a candlelight vigil. The protesters are upset and in some cases frightened by what they say is an atmosphere of racial hatred here at Penn State. A number of African-American students have received anonymous death threats. They claim the university is not doing enough to prevent the hatred, nor enough to encourage racial diversity on campus.
At Penn State University, it is now time for the final exams, but some of the students say the school itself is failing a crucial test. For more than a week now, Penn State has been the scene of nonstop protests over threats received by African-American students who say they are living in fear of death. Some have gotten death threats. Exactly how many, though, is unclear. But one campus leader received 4 such threats over the past 2 years. And just last month, there was a bomb threat against a ceremony honoring African-American graduates.
Good evening and welcome to BET Tonight. I'm Cheryl Martin. Graduation preparations are underway at colleges and universities across the country, but the celebration at Pennsylvania State University is tempered by hate mail sent to black students and by threats of a bomb on graduation day this Saturday.
Hetzel Union Building, the hub, the center of the negotiations, where the village developed, is right here behind us. But it was here across the street in April 1988, Penn State's telecommunications building, that was ground zero for the university's race relations. Students upset with the university's minority programming, frustrated they couldn't meet with administrators, staged a sit-in here. 88 were arrested after police showed up in riot gear. Today, 13 years later, some things are still the same. Well, as a second-year student at Penn State, who readily admits...
Unfortunately, I wasn't as involved as I should have been in the last 2 years that I've been here in the Black Caucus and, different organizations that are trying to meet with the administration now. But I definitely think there was a problem because it's gotten to this point.
Michelle's concerns are shared by others, concerns that led to meetings between the Black Caucus and university administrators, not just in recent weeks, but back in December.
We acknowledged back in December that there were parts of the diversity plan that had not been fully realized.
Recent events are sparked by 2 notes received April 20th, death threats.
This is a white academy in a white town in a white country, and by God, it's going to stay that way, blank, blank.
The FBI is among the first to meet with the students. The students are advised to stay quiet, not make themselves a bigger target. What unfolds in the next 2 weeks, though, isn't what the FBI and administration has in mind.
FBI is a part of this investigation. Is that common for the FBI to be involved at this level?
Well, the FBI was brought in, and we're very pleased to have their assistance because the threat to Lakeisha was communicated through the mail. That brings not only the FBI, but the ability to get the Postal Service to look at this. And we're certainly very pleased to have their resources. They have the kind of sophisticated resources that can try to profile the person who would have written this particular letter, or who may have been involved in the prior threats or the prior emails.
So I would like to say that Lakeisha Wolf, when she received her letter, there was supposed to be an FBI agent covering her case, yet she has never, ever been questioned once by an FBI agent. And another thing, the Attorney General right now is relying on information provided by local authorities to conduct this investigation. We feel that the local authorities are either incompetent or directly involved. For that reason, the Attorney General cannot act as an assistant to the local authorities. We need someone to investigate the local authorities.
April 21st, Penn State's blue-white football scrimmage. The Black Caucus first requests a meeting with the football team and then wants free use of the stadium's public address system to air their grievances.
So we wanted to alarm the community and tell them if they had any information to come out.
26 demonstrators are arrested. Then the following Tuesday, April 24th, a rally to unite campus is denounced by students as simply a feel-good measure, not addressing the issues.
Penn State players had a front-row seat for the protest. Some of them say they understand the point the protesters are trying to make.
I guess they were kind of accomplish that don't just pass off the hate letters as just being hate letters. It's more than that. You threaten people's life, their way of life, who they are, their race, and their background. And I think this country wasn't even founded on that. And just, I mean, by doing that, they had to express themselves some way, and I think they got that point across.
I'm talking about students who have had their names or pictures in the local newspapers, and also the black football players who obviously are well known in the community.
Players, plural?
Yes. Yes, over seven, at least 7 black football players have received these same death-threatening letters.
All right, so this has been no mystery. This is something that's been actually out in the open and talked about for some time then.
Yes and no. It's been known by Black Caucus. We've actually been trying to bring light to these issues this whole entire year, but we haven't had a lot of cooperation from Penn State administration, the president, or police.
Lakeisha mentioned that there were several football players who've also been the targets of some of these threatening letters that have been received. And I find that fairly interesting because I'm sure the press would have found out something like that if that had happened a long time ago or during football season. And how is it that has been going on? And say we have not heard anything from any of the players or from Coach Paterno.
Well, it's hard to say. I had not heard about the football players receiving anything that would be like a death threat, but some of them apparently have reported this and kept it within the athletic department or talked with other students. But it's hard for me personally to identify specific individuals who have received death threats. A couple of people have mentioned that they've handled it on their own. We know about the one student who was on the team last year, but I can't confirm or deny.
Well, I have to tell you that Lakeisha has said in other comments to us here at the network that is evidence to her and to others that there's something of a cover-up going on there at Penn State about all this.
Yeah, I don't think that would be true, but I can't deny that there have been students, in fact, who are not athletes who have received threatening hate mail and letters over the years, and they have not been brought to the administration's attention.
President Spanier, you're walking away from me right now. President Spanier!
Penn State President Graham Spanier is booed and shouted down. He goes to the Robinson Center at the Hub. Students set up a village there supporting the Black Caucus and trying to get the administration to meet their demands.
Try to stop the voices that go round in my head now. Thought you were the one to understand me. You turned my dark skies to light, but once again you took my hopes to fame. My soul's insane, my tears start cleaning in the rain. Falling again, falling again. I really don't know what you came here for. Round and around we go, sitting your bags outside the door.
There are times when you go into a classroom or, you walk into a building and you're the only one, you're the only black person, you're the only minority, and, it's a little tense.
10% of Pennsylvania's population is black as compared to only 4% of the university's student enrollment. So what do the last 2 weeks mean in the long run?
Sure, what about that body that was found about 20 miles from the university campus? Is there any correlation between that body and these death threats, these racist threats?
Well, not all questions have been answered at this point, but there is no apparent connection whatsoever. The person who was found was from New York. There were no ties that are known of to State College or Penn State University, and we think it's strictly an unrelated incident.
Cheryl, I'd like to comment on that.
Charlene?
I'd like to comment on that. The letter that Lakeisha Wolf, president of Black Caucus, received specifically said that a black male's body would be found. Within a week, we found a black male's body was found. There hasn't been a black homicide in that center area for a couple of years now. The Attorney General, local police, and university police have not provided any kind of evidence to prove that it's not related, but yet they are proactively disassociating the body with the letters. So I think that's troubling for the students.
As negotiations continue, after more than a week, a student-driven agenda produces an agreement. A recurring theme here, accountability.
To make sure that those things that we ask for are implemented. How can we have victory if there's no way to be certain that those things are implemented?